The following is a presentation of SC State Athletics.
Coach Buddy Pough's South Carolina State Bulldogs are back in action after having a week off, coming off their best win of the season against the Citadel here at the Oliver C. Dawson Bulldog Stadium, Willie Jeffrey Spiel. Today, their attention turns to the Virginia Lynchburg Dragons, an HBCU team nestled in the hills of Virginia, right off the James River, right below the Blue Ridge Mountains. Now, it's an HBCU team that used to be in the CIAA, but they did away with football back in 1954 and is since searching for that first win over a major college football power. For South Carolina State, could this be the game that lights the match that sets the Bulldog season on fire? We're about to find out. Coming up next on the Buddy Pough Show. Gives it to Alex on the right side. Alex bounces it outside in the 40, turns the corner into 45. At midfield, into Morgan State territory. 25-20, 15-10, 5. Dixon breaks through the 40, 20-40, 35-30. Johnny Dixon is 25-20, 15-10. Johnny Dixon 5. Touchdown, Johnny Dixon. He keeps it himself. Devontae Smith got wrapped up and gets him on the turf. Coach, Virginia Lynchburg after a week off. Talk to me about preparation for this football game, because mentally now, Virginia Lynchburg, on paper, not a real good football team, but that makes them a dangerous football team.
You're exactly right. And they were like close at the half last week against Delaware State. And a couple weeks before, they had Presbyterian down and blocked some kicks and that kind of stuff. So they've got a chance anytime to get out there. Anytime you got a situation like theirs where they don't really have anything to lose, then you always know you're going to play a loosey-goosey football team that might somehow or another find a way to beat you.
What was the biggest challenge in getting ready for this football team, knowing who you're playing, plus given the fact you had 2 weeks to get ready?
Well, we had two challenges. First off, we had to figure out exactly what we could do to make ourselves better. It's more about South Carolina State right now than it is about the rest of our schedule. So we can get ourselves to the point where we know exactly what we've got and who can do what for us. And at that point, then I think that gives us the opportunity to develop and be better. So we went through most of trying to figure us out. Now, from there, we started practicing a little bit on Virginia Lynchburg and a couple other schools in the back of our schedule. This past week, though, it was all Virginia Lynchburg. And at this point, we think that, we got a chance to get after these guys pretty good. But the key to it all is that we get a good start. We need to get after these guys from the very beginning. The longer they stay in it, the more confidence they get, and at that point, and it gives them the edge to a certain degree. So we need to get to them from the very beginning.
Coach, talk about the quarterback position. That's been kind of a bone of contention over the course of the season. You played two most of the season, but you had an opportunity to play a lot of folks leading in. What were you able to work on and maybe solidify?
Yeah, well, we kind of came to the conclusion after the Citadel game that we want to go back and play mostly Corey. And Andre will play some, but at this point, Corey is our guy, and we'll kind of make him, A1 that way. So we won't necessarily do very much besides that. So the plan is built around his skill set. Now, we'll have a chance to do some things with Andre, and Andre is really, down the road a piece we think can be really special. Prometheus Franklin's still out there. We can still do some things with him, but at this point right now, we're going to try to see how far we can ride Corey Fields back to the end of this deal.
Coach, talk about the defense. Now, you played really well against the Citadel. Really didn't allow them to get started. Any changes on the defense and the injury situation surrounding that group?
Well, Octavia Mentor is out, and we're going to hold him. But the majority of the rest of our defense is back. And, I think our guys, with Coach Thomas Howard now, are beginning to settle in a little bit. He's new, but at the same time, he's got to the point now where guys are really starting to feel, for what he's trying to get them to do. So I think we at the point now where our defense is coming along. Hopefully we're at the point now where we can really depend on them to be the lead defense that we've been expecting and always anticipating here at South Carolina State.
Coach, you challenged your offensive line in the last ball game, had a week after to think about that. What about the challenges and what do you want to see from that O-line today?
Well, it's the same as usual. We got to be able to run the football, and that's where it starts at. Those guys have got to be, the lead dogs in this hunt. And what we really feel like is those guys are returning experienced guys. So we ought to have, a pretty good feel for the fact that they ought to be dominant in a way that we ought to be able to really lean on them and not necessarily have to worry about, being able to run the football. But it's not been that way. Well, we think it's getting to be back that way now. So hopefully they'll kind of got their ship right, and we'll be at the point now where we can make this thing happen.
All right, Coach, best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Ernest.
Maxion Cobb will kick it off. Cobb with the kickoff, recovered by one of the up men, fielded by one of the up men around the 13-yard line. He fights back up the field, pushed out of bounds on the South Carolina State sidelines. Shotgun formation for the Dragons. 2 Dragons are to the right, 1 to the left. Shotgun snap back to Cooper. Steps up in the pocket, now wants to run the football. He's going to be wrapped up and slung down. Aaron Smith has him. No whistles blown. They finally blew the whistle. The sack all the way back at the 18-yard line. Bulldogs have 10 on the line of scrimmage. Here they come. Boozy kind of misses the punt. It's blocked. It's recovered by... Looks like that was Aiden Weber. Weber has it. Weber picks it up into the end zone. Aiden Weber with the touchdown. And just like that, with 12:03 to go here in the first quarter, the Bulldogs are on the board first 7 for South Carolina State. Nothing for Virginia Lynchburg. Aiden is coming on the blitz. They flip it out. It is intercepted by Jamari Benjamin at the 50, at the 45-40. Back into Dragon territory before he's tackled down. But Jamari Benjamin read that extremely well. There's a snap to give it to Casey inside. Casey gets to move it to 30. Casey gets the first down, runs over. A guy gets tackled down to the 22-yard line. Best run of the day, 11-yard pickup for Casey Fields. Keyshawn's the H-back to the left. They give it to Casey over the left side. Across the 15 to the 10. Casey cuts back at the 5. Touchdown, Casey Fields. What an outstanding run from 17 yards out. And so that makes it 14 for South Carolina State. Nothing for Virginia Lynchburg with 5:53 to go here. Cleves back to pass. We could get a sack. Cleves in trouble. And we got us a sack to give back.
That's
Jamal McKinley with the first sack to give back for South Carolina State. Shotgun snap to Corey, rolling to his right, looking, throwing. Got a man out there. Jordan Smith catches it at the 20, turns at the 10, at the 5. Smith going for the pylon. Did he get there? Oh, yes, he did. He did get there. Jordan Smith went for the pylon, and from 28 yards out, it's a South Carolina State touchdown. It may be a long day for the Dragons and a great day for the Bulldogs as their score, South Carolina State 21, Virginia Lynchburg nothing. C.J. Brooks, who is the starting quarterback, now for Virginia Lynchburg, and the Bulldogs will get another sack to give back. Jablonski Green with the sack, a 3-yard loss. There's a snap to give it to Howell. Howell over the right side. Howell bounces it outside at the 20, at the 25. Howell gets his best run of the day up to about the 28-yard line. Shotgun snap to Corey. Corey gives it to Jamal. Jawan over the left side at the 40, at the 45, at the 50. Jawan up into Dragon territory. Stopped down at the 38-yard line. Corey back to pass. Flips it out, screen. This is Jawan Howell at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, at the 5. Jawan into the end zone for the score. And with 5:21 to go here in the first half, our score, South Carolina State 35, Virginia Lynchburg nothing. C.J. Brooks, the quarterback. Brooks, play action fake, looking long. Got a man wide open over the middle at the 15. Aiden Weber trying to run him down on the reception for Virginia Lynchburg, still on his feet. The kick is good, and Virginia Lynchburg is on the board with 2:54 to go in the first half. Keyshawn Tony's the H-back to the left. They give it to Casey Fields. Casey across the 30 at the 35, spins, gets up to about the 40-yard line. Corey Fields at quarterback. Play action fake. They throw it to Justin Smith-Brown. Smith-Brown at the 50, at the 45, at the 40. Cuts on Burners at the 30. 25-20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Justin Smith-Brown. Tackled in the end zone, but the Bulldogs on the board. Bulldogs up 42-3. Brooks back to pass. Brooks in trouble. Brooks now floating out. Has a man out there caught. I tell you what, that's Sirigoni up at the 50-yard line. Jason Sirigoni, Bill.
And he gets out of bounds.
And he catches the football. Harris on the shotgun. Back to pass, in trouble. It's going to be wrapped up, brought down. Another sack to give back. This time it's Aaron Smith and Aiden Weber with the sack. Virginia Lynchburg in no hurry. Back to pass. Harris steps up in the pocket. Going to be sacked again. Another sack to give back. That's a Shad Hall. Our score at the half. It's South Carolina State 42, Virginia Lynchburg 3. All right, Coach, we start this football game about as well as you could expect to. Your offense didn't get you going, but your special teams got you on the board first and took some pressure off your offense.
You're exactly right. We wanted to go fast and get a good fast start, but I didn't think it would start that fast. Our defense got them stopping. And from that point, our special teams, our punt block team, blocked the punt and got a score right off the bat. So, we were cooking with gravy right there at the very beginning.
Aiden Weber scored his first touchdown as a South Carolina State Bulldog. And, Coach, we talk about the fact that you use a lot of starters on special teams. Weber played well on special teams. Aaron Jones made a lot of tackles on special teams. Aaron Smith made a lot of tackles on special teams as well.
Both those guys have played punt, which is the most important team that we play almost all season. And, I tell guys, if I trust you, if I put you on our punt team, you really know that I trust you. And, those guys have done a nice job. But now it was punt block that got us started. We call it dog team. We can't ever figure out the difference when somebody says punt or punt block. So rather than call one punt and one punt, we call punt block dog team. So our dog team actually went out and got us a score right at the beginning of the game, which was a big start to the game for us.
All right, the offense struggled on that first series, Coach, but after that first series, Corey settled them down. You got the run game going, 201 yards rushing in the first half of the Bulldog offense.
Got a good mixture going, and you could tell they wanted to try to stop Corey this game because Corey had run the ball pretty good against the Steelers 2 weeks prior. So, in this particular case, the read was to give to the tailback most of the time, and he got some big runs, and our offensive line really did a nice job of blowing the front off of the ball in a way where it gave us some big gain yardages.
You start talking about big game yardages, Coach. You played a bunch of running backs in the first half. You started with Jamon Howard. He started slowly. You go to the bench, bring some other guys in. That got him going, and you get production out of everybody.
You're right. We got, I guess, maybe 5 or 6 running backs that you really can kind of depend on. It's been an embarrassment of riches here for most of the season that way, and we've been struggling a little bit offensively running the football in a way where we hadn't really gotten the real benefit out of them, but you could see it coming. Today was one of those days that you could actually see it actually come to fruition in a way where you got a real good look in those guys.
Bulldogs put up 42 first half points, but Coach, there was only one series in this whole ball game near the end of the second quarter when Virginia Lynchburg got something going offensively, and your defense had to sort of kind of buckle down and stand up.
We had a busted assignment on a pass play where the tight end came free as a bird, and I thought he was going to score, but we ran him down. It was a good thing it was the tight end. If it had been a wide receiver, he would have scored, but at the same time, we got him stopped, and then their field goal kick is pretty good. So he made a long field goal, and at that point, they got 3 points.
That was where the first half ended. South Carolina State leading Virginia Lynchburg 42-3. We'll take a time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. We'll come back with more after this timeout. All right, it's that time on the Buddy Pough Show where we do the Prisma Health Injury Report. And, Coach, for this ball game, you came out pretty good.
We did. We get to the point now where we get almost our entire team back healthy. Cam Johnson, one of our offensive linemen, is struggling a little bit back and legs and that kind of stuff. And we didn't play him at all in the second half. But I think most of the rest of our team seems to be in pretty good shape.
So one of the best things about this week's program is the Food Lion Sack to Give Back program. And, Coach, we had some sacks for Food Lion to give back as they'll give $1,000 for each sack, 1,000 meals for each sack that we get. And we had quite a few of them on Saturday.
That's a lot more than $1,000 too, but I can tell you, I think we've got at least 5. And I'm excited. Godbolt said he had a couple, and Jamal McKinney had a few, and some of those other guys, look, there were some sacks out there. So I'm looking forward to going in and looking at the film so we can figure out exactly how many, but the stats say that we had 5.
A Sack to Give Back program by Food Line, where they will provide 1,000 meals to needy folks in the Orangeburg and South Carolina communities. And we're really appreciative for their support in this program, and so glad, Coach, we can contribute this week.
Finally, we've been going a couple weeks where we hadn't had any sacks, or we had, the stats say we hadn't had any sacks, but we did. But at the same time, we for sure got some, so I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how this deal works.
All right, we'll take another time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. When we come back, we'll talk about the second half. South Carolina State and Virginia Lynchburg on this edition of the Buddy Pough Show. Shotgun snap, they give it to Josh Shaw. Shaw over the left side, Shaw at the 40, Shaw getting forward across the 45 to the 46-yard line. That's an 11-yard run. Andre Washington at quarterback. Shotgun snap to Andre, gives over Shaw. Shaw's carried every play so far. Over the left side, gets the first down to the 42-yard line. Football on the right hash as the Dragons attack right to left. Back to pass, going long. Got a man out there. It is intercepted by South Carolina State. And Brunson had room to run, and he got tackled down. Zane Dunham trying to make a block. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Washington. They jump off sides again. This time Washington throwing it deep. Catches it is nasty. Washington takes the shotgun snap, gives it to Josh Shaw.
Keeps it himself.
Washington
and he
in his
scores.
zone. My goodness, Bill, thank you. Because I thought he gave it to Shaw, pulled it out, snuck into the end zone. It's 49 for the Bulldogs, 3 for Virginia Lynchburg.
Punter is Woolsey.
Here comes pressure. Woosley gets off the punt. Short punt for him. Burgess fumbles the snap with the shank.
And it's recovered by the Dragons.
It's 36 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Cleaves, screen pass, wrapped up, brought down. What a nice play by South Carolina State.
I didn't know Birch had that type of leg.
High snap, kick is up. It is long. It is through the uprights.
Oh,
It's good.
boy, Avery Birch.
51 yards in the ball game. It's 49-6 now as
Avery Birch.
Avery Birch kicks a 51-yard field goal. Here we go. 1st and 10 from the Bulldog 40. They give it to Shaw. Shaw bounces outside at 45, at the 50, at the 45, at the 40. Into Virginia Lynchburg territory, all the way down to the 30-yard line. Washington gives it to Shaw. Shaw bounces outside at 25. Shaw spun around up to about the 20-yard line. That's a pickup of 8. There's a snap. Give to Josh Shaw over the right side. Josh Shaw runs down and gets another Bulldog first down with a pickup of 7. They give it to Deani. Deani cuts back at the 5. Deani down to the 2-yard line. This is an area of concern for Coach Buddy Pough. Gives it to Donnie Dixon. Dixon pushes forward.
I think he's in the end zone.
He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Deani Dixon. So it's 7:42 to go in the game. Our score, South Carolina State 56. Virginia Lynchburg 6. Play action fake. Cleaves throws it out there. Has a man out there. Caught first down for the Dragons up at about the 38-yard line. Snap it back to him. Hands off to Curtis over the right side. Curtis stood up. Jaden Jones right at the line of scrimmage. He got 2 yards. There's the snap. They give it to Curtis up the middle. Curtis running over people, getting the first down. But that's going to do it for the end of the game. So the horn will sound and South Carolina State will get their second win of the season, 56-6 over the Virginia Lynchburg Dragons. All right, Coach, to begin the second half, you won the opening toss, so that means you deferred your decision to the second half, and that sets up pretty nicely for what you want to do in this football game.
It did, and we had our second team offense started the second half, which gave us an opportunity to see if we could control the football using that group, and worked out rather nicely. Now, we eventually ended up turning the ball over on downs, but at the same time, I thought that Andre Washington and that group really looked good for a while. And eventually they did get some scores. On
the defensive side of the football, Coach, you got a chance to go down in your roster.
Yes.
We saw some guys, Donaldson Davis, some guys that really don't get a lot of playing time, really impose their will on this football game.
You saw Jordan Dollard, defensive lineman
40
from North Carolina. This is his first game playing. You saw Ricardo Sprinkle from Orangeburg. He was one of those guys that we hadn't seen, I think ever. We saw 2 or 3 other guys that I don't want to even almost call their name right now because I need to kind of get this figured out. But I can tell you that we played pretty much everybody on our defensive side that could play.
So we look forward to South Carolina State and their defense as you start to step up now. Of course, as we finish the game with the Virginia Lynchburg team, Coach, you got Tennessee Tech coming up. We'll talk more about it, but talk a little bit about that and get them prepared for that football game.
Well, this is our next game, and it gives us an opportunity to get back to 500. Tennessee Tech's a really good football team, but they played a tough schedule. They're in the OVC, and they just lost a game. They just won a game this past week against
Kennesaw State.
Which it kind of scares you a little bit. And if we can figure out a way to kind of continue to deal with our offensive and defensive sides of the ball in a positive manner, then I think we'll be fine. But we got our work cut out for us coming Saturday.
All right, we'll have a final word on next week's game when South Carolina State takes on Tennessee Tech and more on this edition of the Buddy Pough Show. Our coach, 2-3 on the season right now, a chance to get to 500. Tennessee Tech, first opportunity we've ever played this ball club.
This will be interesting. This team from up in Tennessee will be a fun kind of opponent for us this coming Saturday. And, we starting now to develop a little bit of a relationship with some teams that we hadn't had, as much of an opportunity to in the past. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this works out.
You start talking about that, Coach. How does this prepare you for what's on down the line? I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but of course, the conference is what's most important.
Right.
But how do you use a game like Tennessee Tech to make that next step into the conference?
You're exactly right. Iron sharpens iron. And the better competition we can play here, getting close to our conference, I think the better it makes it. So this team will give us a good stern test this coming Saturday. I look forward to seeing just how well we match up.
All right, Coach. South Carolina State about to take on Tennessee Tech here at the Oliver C. Dawson Bulldog Stadium. We want you to come out this Saturday. We need a good bit of folks in the crowd. Coach, we had a great crowd this past week. Youth, ROTC, and Business and Industry Day drew a big crowd. We need a big crowd for Tennessee Tech.
We need another big crowd. You're exactly right. And it was really a good crowd today with our Youth Day. And that's got to be a tradition here that we really need to figure out how to develop, for some other games. But this coming Saturday is Parent and Family Day. And, all of our students are to bring their folks to the game, and then anybody else who's a South Carolina State alumnus or anybody else who's a South Carolina State connection in any kind of way needs to come to this game on Saturday, because we need a big crowd for this last home game going into the conference.
All right, folks, we hope to see you next week at the Oliver C. Dawson Bulldog Stadium when the Bulldogs take on Tennessee Tech, and next week right here on Watch Fox 57 on the Buddy Pough Show.